Let's talk about processing challenging emotions without resorting to that bottle of Sauvignon Blanc or mindlessly scrolling on some app on your phone. And I see the irony here because that's probably where you found me. Zero shade as well, because I spent a good chunk of my life running, numbing, denying myself from my emotions. I was addicted to cocaine, alcohol, shitty relationships, drama, and a chaos a go-go. And if you didn't already know, we would have picked up these habits and patterns from our childhood. Our caregivers, parents would have taught us how to or how not to process our emotions between the ages of 0 to 7, 7 to 14, and 14 to 21. And unless you do the work and wake up to yourself, then you're going to drag all these patterns and habits that you learn in childhood into your adulthood, and it causes a mess, I tell you, a real mess if you don't know how to process those big emotions. So let me get back to my story. If you didn't already know, I live in Turkey. I moved here from the UK a couple of years ago, and my adult son has spent the last 2 weeks with me, and he's just gone today. He went back on a flight to the UK, and I feel really sad. It feels like there's a part of me that has been pulled out, and I found myself today not really knowing what to do. Now, at the beginning, what I did do is distract myself and went into a town called Go Check and had a look around the shops and busied myself there. And then I just told myself, I was like, you need to go home, come back home. And so come back home, and I was like on tenterhooks waiting for him to land because he hasn't flown on his own before. And he's just texted me, he's landed in the UK, he's met my dad who's picking him up. And this feeling inside me, it feels like it's here, right in my sternum, my heart. It feels so uncomfortable, so painful. It feels like I have to take a deep breath, and it's this intense feeling of loneliness. It's huge, I tell you, huge. And this is coming from someone who lives on her own. I live in Turkey on my own and have done for the last 2 years. And so I am well versed in being on my own. In fact, solitude is one of my medicines. Just this is what I love about life. Just when you think you're getting complacent with, oh yeah, I can handle being lonely, life throws you another lesson. So here I am feeling this intense loneliness, and I really don't know what to do with myself. I keep picking things up, putting them down, looking through my cupboards. It's like my brain can't focus on anything long enough. And so what I'm doing is acknowledging all of this and stopping what I'm doing every now and then and allowing myself to feel it. And I'm walking as I'm doing it. Your legs are a wisdom center. So when you start to walk, you've got this right left action, which is called cross crawling, and it gets your right and left brain hemispheres to work together. It helps you to process your emotions. So if you were anything like me, I learned a long time ago to fix this uncomfortable feeling or to ignore it. So wine would do it, getting dragged into chaos would do it, being busy would do it. And now I know that my job is to feel it, to really welcome it in as a visitor and allow it to reside within my body. Now, this, as with most things that are calling us to grow and expand, takes time, takes patience. And as we do this, as we're willing to feel the gnarly emotions, we're willing to feel the pain, because that's what it feels like to me. My son is gone, I'm feeling intense loneliness. And so underneath that, I kind of go, well, what is that? It feels like an actual pain. I'm like, oh God, this is like was speared through my heart. And then underneath that is sadness. So much sadness. And as I've been distracting myself at home by doing various things and shuffling my papers around and opening my computer up, and I was trying to read my book as well. I know what I'm doing. It's called pendulation. What I'm doing is I'm giving myself some space for that feeling to be here with me. So, and also, so I'm not in it completely, because it feels like it's all encompassing. It's going to drag me with it. I know it won't drag me with it, but when you start to learn the skills of being with your emotions, of feeling with your emotions, it does feel like, oh my God, what if this takes over? What if I can't stop crying? What if I can't stop feeling sad? I need to show you something. This tattoo on my arm. Nothing lasts forever. This too shall pass. So it's one of my mantras that I live by. I know this will pass, and my job, whilst I'm feeling this intense sadness, is not to attach any stories onto it. No stories. I'm not telling myself why I'm sad, why I shouldn't be sad. I'm not trying to justify it, because that's what my brain, my ego wants to do. It wants to rationalize and like find logic out of this so it can find its way out and doesn't have to feel the uncomfortability. And yet, as a veteran of this work, I know that my only quest is to sit in the uncomfort, sit in the discomfort, and allow myself to feel it. Allow it to, it feels like it's a wave. It's going to, woof, it comes up and it almost feels like it's going to topple me over. And I'm like, no, I'm going to stay here and feel it and hold the space for these emotions to run through my body. And then I find myself distracting myself again, walking around, taking a deeper breath. And this is all part of the process. My job, your job, is not to get rid of these emotions. Your job is not to ignore these emotions. Your job is to become a safe haven for all these emotions, these feelings to visit. I always say that every part of me that comes and visits is so welcome here, even though it is tough and it's challenging. Feels like it takes my breath away. But they're welcome here, and I always give them a cup of tea and a slice of cake. And in the process of doing this, in the process of you doing this, what you're doing is you're cultivating patience, compassion, discipline to sit with the unknown, discipline to sit with the discomfort, because otherwise your ego is going to lead your life. And when you let your ego lead your life, you're always going to want to fix things, find solutions instantaneously. Sitting in anything uncomfortable is going to freak you out, and you're going to bolt. And your job, if you're resonate with me, if you're here to expand and evolve, is to be able to ride the storms of life, to be able to stay with yourself and not depart, not abandon. Oh, it took me a long time to get to the punchline. Not to abandon yourself, however or whatever you are feeling. No emotions are bad or good. They're emotions. Labeling things will keep them stuck to you. So your job is to be with yourself in these moments, and you can use that tool of pendulation, of feeling it and then coming out, going for a walk, distracting yourself with something, not that Sauvignon Blanc, not that swiping on Tinder or Bumble. Why are you on there still? Your job is to be able to be this safe home, to sit with oneself, so you know that you are safe, you know that you will never leave your side, and that is your power.